Hey guys, it's Christian from Lost in Discovery. Welcome back to this series where we are hunting down, we are searching, we are getting into nerdy territory. That's fine because we are searching for the ending to the entire Stormlight Archive. Stick around for more. Okay guys, so if you're new to this series, go back to episode 1 where I pitched the idea that we have enough foreshadowing, enough little tidbits to get close to an understanding of future events in the series and maybe, if we're lucky, the ending. Now, in the past few weeks, we've talked about the death rattles, and that's what we're focusing on at the moment. We've talked about the origins of the death rattles, we've confirmed events that they have predicted in the future, and today we're going to look at the last few death rattles that we pretty much have 100% confirmation about what they're referring to and which events they predicted in the series. Now, there will still be a few leftovers, but I'm saving those for our other special episode, which you'll see when I talk about it. Without any further ado, let's do it. Let's get into it. All is withdrawn from me. I stand against the one who saved my life. I protect the one who killed my promises. I raise my hand. The storm responds. So to Kaladin protecting King Elhokar against Moash. Let's break it down so we can make full sense of it. So I stand against the one who saved my life. This is referring to Moash. He has saved Kaladin's life indirectly and directly throughout the series, mainly really specific. Yes, he has saved Kaladin's life. I protect the one who killed my promises is referring to Elhokar and how Elhokar has betrayed Kaladin in so many ways. I raise my hand, the storm responds is Kaladin finally reuniting with Syl, swearing his oaths of a Stormlight Archive book. But do you think Sanderson overt? No, he wouldn't. Of course he wouldn't. So, me being me, making a video series, I'm never satisfied with just reading a wiki. No, we're gonna go deeper. So I went to the chapters and I thought, what's a relevant chapter where Kaladin finds himself in the prison, and it is called The One Who Killed Promises. Bam, confirmation, this is referring to Elhokar. But then, the one who saved my life, like, what's that about? We know that Moash has referring to both of them, so yeah. Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. A death rattle that has confirmed an event in the future. Taravangian is investing his time very smartly here. Now, quick side tangent with these death rattles. So we know that the verbalizing it. Now, are these people seeing it like a movie or seeing it like a VR person and reciting what they said? Because in this one, the person who is Kaladin, almost in a narration sense, talking about events of his life, noticing a pattern with these death rattles. We've had Kaladin swearing his ideal in Way of Kings, his one in Words of Radiance, and now this one in Rhythm of War. Why are we getting where we all just cried and lost our minds on the pages? It was a very, very sad scene. He almost commits suicide. You know the scene by now. It's a beautifully told, but what I do believe does sell it and does confirm it is A, we've gotten other death rattles from Kaladin's perspective, swearing ideals, and this is actually a scene that Brandon has said as soon as he started the Stormlight Archive, this is the scene he's been waiting 20 years. So it would make sense that he would allude to it in a death rattle. Now, he probably didn't know the... So we have another Kaladin rattle, a cattle. They're getting these visions from Moash and they are verbalizing it to the Silent Gatherers. And it looks like this person is glimpsing into Shadesmar as he's dying. And I don't believe this is a prophetic, certain that people spend a brief moment in the cognitive realm before passing. Lines is referring to a cryptic spread. We've seen them plenty in Kharbranth and they're probably watching around chapters 2, so it makes sense that the cryptics are in this area. And the distant sun, dark and cold. This is just a perfect description of Shadesmar. So this is like an anomaly with the death rattles where someone is not actually saying something Moash has given to them. It's them narrating what they're seeing as they're dying in the cognitive realm. That was a very nerdy sentence, but alas, we move on. All right, let's look at 2 death rattles that talk about the kind of end of days situations, but we have enough of information from these to gather what they're on about. I see them. They are the rocks. They are the vengeful spirits, eyes of red. They named it the final desolation, but they lied. Our gods lied. Oh, how they lied. The Everstorm comes. I hear its whispers, see its storm wall, know its heart. So the first one is clearly about thunderclasts. We have seen these in the prelude to the Stormlight Archive. Well,
and Yasna with her.
You remember that scene, and that happened. So we've seen from the past thunderclasts that came at the end of Oathbringer. It just seems to be like, hey, thunderclast. At the end of the prelude to the Stormlight Archive, we know that Talon held the Oath Pact together by lied, bad things are going to come. So these are just prophetic things saying the Everstorm is coming, Odium's forces are joining. So whilst these sound very interesting, I think they're quite straightforward as to what they're referring to. Victory. We stand atop the mount. We scatter them before us. Fans, is that this is when humans colonized Roshar. Now a recap, to confident with surge binding, mainly due to the crazy herald an entire planet. Therefore, humanity moved itself somehow to Roshar. Story of humans moving into a new area and just ruining everything. The homes become... And why I believe this is the humans is because it says, and they shall burn as we have done before, ashen. However, is this a future vision of the fused, the good guys? I'm leaving that one open. It could go either way, but and we're going to look at some of the death rattles that I'm going to cover in upcoming episodes. We're going to look at. I really hope you enjoyed what we found here because I had a great time making it. See you guys all in my next video.